All right, so next let's move to analog inputs. So you have 8 of them total in addition to, holy moly, the coolant, intake air temp, and throttle position, which, so you get, really that's like, it's 11 that you get. The IAT, so the intake air temperature sensor wire from the Max, I am not currently using it. I'm turning that off. I'm using it here for the one that you've got in the plenum. Now, if you wanted to use both, you could, and it is wired. So the stock sensor, I do have that wired. I just have it disabled in your stuff right now. What we will be doing is using the one on your plenum, which is going to plug into this 4-pin STBA connector. But you can see, you know, on all of these, so like this coolant temperature, it's set up to the Bosch temperature sensor, which is really, really close to the Busa one. But you can do different selections if you were ever to swap that sensor out. If you go to user-defined sensor, it gives you the option to type in resistance values and then the temperature output. And these are what is set up for that Bosch sensor right now. So anytime you want to see what the settings are for a sensor, if you just select it and then you go to user-defined sensor, it'll show you what the values are. Throttle position, you're going to want to check this on the bike once you get it. You know, you basically just hit current voltage with the throttle off and then with the thing wide open. And then you can verify that by looking at the bottom of the screen here, throttle position, or over in your little real-time thing, you can type in, you know, throttle, and you'll see that somewhere. I don't know where the hell it's at the moment. Throttle position, right there it is, throttle position. So if I was to move the throttle, okay, you'll see now we're at like 30%, whatever. So you got that guy working. Now you go into these other analog inputs. Now, gear is a little bit confusing because gear position sensor, you type in a name, again, you can name it whatever you want. You're going to use this as an analog, not a digital. The class, this is where you actually tell it what type of, what this sensor really is, gear position sensor. Okay, and the way that a lot of stuff in the Max ECU works, which can be a little bit confusing, is that you select that, what that input wire is here, but then you don't calibrate it here. To calibrate it, you actually have to go to VSS speed and gear. So if you give me just a moment here, I'm going to find that for you. Here you go, speed and gear. Speed and gear. Okay, and I'm going to scroll to the top. Speed source, I guess we don't even really need this. But anyway, so here's your gear calculation. Analog gear position sensor, which is what we're doing. Now you can do it off of shift counters, RPM drops. You can do it calculated based off of speed and something else. Engine RPM, sorry, going brain dead here. But let's go back to analog sensor. Okay, so it's set up for reverse, neutral, and 6 gears. I can't turn reverse off for whatever reason. But essentially, you can put the bike into each gear with the key on, obviously, all that good stuff. And you hit get current value, and that's going to bring in the value percentage of the 5-volt signal that it's seeing, and you can put in a plus or minus tolerance. I have these all programmed already, but sometimes tweaks might be needed on your bike if the voltage levels are a little different. The voltage levels on this sensor are about the worst sensor on the Busa. But anyway, so you can see VSS gear there says 1 right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just move my simulated gear position sensor I have. 0 is neutral, so I've got first, neutral, second gear, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Now you will notice when I push in on your quick shifter, it's going to drop to a first gear value momentarily there.